Okay, welcome to the third part of this Second Life Creating series. In this part, we're going to be installing an essential add-on for Blender that will help us in exporting rigged items to Second Life DAE compatible format, and that is Avastar. So there are multiple substitute add-ons for this particular add-on, but the one that I am using and that I can recommend because it just works to the best of my knowledge is the Avastar. So how are we going to get Avastar for? So for starters, you're going to just run a web search for Avastar. This is the link avalab.org/Avastar. Then you're going to buy Avastar, right? So it's not a free add-on. You're going to pay, I think this is USD or euros. So you're going to pay that 36 euros or 11,000 Linden dollars to pay for Avastar. But before paying, you're going to make an account that your purchases are going to be tracked to. Once you've made the account and then you've bought the add-on, then you're going to come all the way up to my profile. All right, so it's going to, when you click this, it's going to tell you to log in again. So after logging in, it's possible that you get this pop-up. Just click go to new website. Then you're going to see downloads, archive, documents, Avastar 1, that's the initial version, and then the daily build. So in your downloads, these are like the official releases, the most stable versions of Avastar. So you have Avastar for 2.79 and you have Avastar for Blender version 3.6. Neither of these we're going to use, but for those of you, just a quick comment here. You must have heard things like, oh, they recommend using Blender 2.79 for certain dev kits or for all dev kits when it comes to creating for Second Life. Please do not do that. In our case, we won't be doing that. Even for the dev kits that they'll tell you, oh, use Blender 2.79, that's what's supported, that's what they know. In our case, I have done quite a bit of testing and experimenting to support creating for all the dev kits that I have had and will possibly ever have for Second Life that are compatible with Avastar for the more recent versions of Blender. So using Blender 2.79 for this process of creating rigged clothing items for Second Life is not my recommendation, but if that's what you're comfortable with, if that's the interface you're still used to, go ahead. I also don't recommend even 3.6, although 3.6 is a better starting point than 2.79 if you ask me. So where are we going to get the latest version? Because if you install this or this, it's not going to work on your Blender version if you have a Blender version higher than 3.6, so from Blender 4 upwards. So we have the archive, and then you can see from the archive we have a version for Blender 4.0.4 to 4.1. That's not what we want because I'm currently using Blender 4.5. So we have documents. These are just guides. I recommend taking a look at the guide. Although it's 2017, that's seems a bit dated. Maybe it contains the latest file. I'm not sure. So, but we're going to be using the add-on directly. So we're not going to really need to get into the nitty-gritty of the guide. It's a very complex add-on. It has so many features to really help you get what you are looking for. Where we're going to go is the daily build. All right. So you just download whatever's at the top of the daily build list. So you can also have the dates they were published as indicators of what's the most recent one. So you can see the most recent one was released in July, late July. So I'm going to download that one. And while it's downloading, I'm going to open up Blender. All right. So here I am in Blender 4.5. In my default scene, I am going to go to Edit, Preferences, just like I would when installing any add-on. Then I'm going to come to the add-ons tab. I will come to this drop-down arrow. Then I will click Install from Disk so that it opens up the files on my PC, and then I can pick the add-on from there. So when I click Install from Disk, I am going to select the Avastar add-on from where it has been saved onto my PC. All right, so once you select it, it's going to come here. It's going to be checked by default, but if it's not checked, make sure it's checked. If it doesn't install properly, I recommend first closing and reopening your Blender or possibly restarting your system, then retrying the installation. So just have this checked. There's usually a second one, I think documents or so. So these are just Devkits presets you can set up. We're not going to be using this, don't worry. You can use these. People sometimes recommend you use these, but I don't recommend you use these. I recommend having your dev kits in separate files. Yeah, so you can read through all the add-ons features in its the documentation on the website, and also the guides. There are guides on their own YouTube channel. I'll be leaving a link to also their Discord. Although their Discord, you get invites to it once you purchase their products. And yes, so that's just how you install Avastar. So why is Avastar important? As you might have heard, as you might have seen, Second Life uses .dae files. So when it comes to rigged objects, right? For unrigged objects, so take for example your decorative furniture, accessories, and things that don't require rigging, just exporting as a DAE and importing into Second Life is fine, right? Just the default Blender DAE export settings is fine. But when it comes to rigged DAE items, it can be tricky doing it manually. You still can do it manually, and there are even tutorials that help you do that manually. But I definitely recommend having the Avastar plugin installed, because a lot of your dev kits that you will be applying for or have applied for and will be downloading and be using for Blender are compatible and built with the Avastar add-on in mind. So you're probably going to download a dev kit and then you're seeing an armature quite all right, but it's not really working properly, or you can't really update the rig properly because you do not have the Avastar add-on. So I recommend getting the Avastar add-on. It's currently 36 euros as we saw, or 11,000 lindens. Just go get it and install it. Install the version that's compatible with the version of Blender you are using. So as we saw earlier, we saw the version for 2.79, 3.6, and then for 4.0 upwards. All right, so that's just what this part is going to be. In the next part, we'll get into the real creating. So yes, thank you for listening to this. Thank you for being part of this, and then I'll see you in the next one.